think it started when I was like a kiddo. Like I started doing the whole like pretend playing and singing thing when I was like 5.
Okay.
My actual music career probably started when I started making money for it. I was 12 and I had a Christian rock band. Bye, Norbert. I was 12 and I had a Christian rock band because that's where I learned how to play. I'm not saying it because then everybody will go look it up and I will never live it down. There are a select few of my friends that still have the CDs and I have to like pay to keep them quiet. It's so bad. But so I did that for a while. You can ask my mom that question. she'll tell you the band name.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's intense. So I did that for a while, probably up until high school. Really, maybe like 8th grade. I was in this like Christian rock band, and we did a lot. We played around Kent area and did all that stuff. And then when high school came around, I was kind of itching to play something that wasn't Christian music because I had just come out. So, you know, like the Christian music game and being super gay does not compute. So I started a like solo project with some of my friends from high school and it was called Madeline Finn. I know, creative. So I started a solo project with a bunch of my friends and we did the high school rock off. To our surprise, we won, which was crazy because I mean, it was so unexpected. And so we won that in 2010. I was the first female to win, like female-fronted band to win. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Well, it is, but that is also not awesome because that's been going for a really long time.
Well, but you did get to you created waves.
I know.
But also
I know.
really crap.
It's like, come on.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, so we did that and just played like that. We released a couple of records and the high school band thing. Mm-hmm. And then one day we were playing a show with a band called Envoy and I was like, yo, you guys are good. And they're like, yo, you're pretty good. And we just kind of like talked together and I ended up going to one of their practices and singing with them and it was like, it worked like magic and soon I knew I was in the band and it was great. So I joined Envoy right after like high school. Mm-hmm. And did that for the end of my high school career and beginning of my college career. And that's when I had to make the choice, you know, between school and doing music full time. And so I dropped out my sophomore year because I was doing well in college.
I wasn't. That's why I dropped out.
Yeah, I see. See, I just, I don't know. I thrived in the environment. I was an RA, or like I was on track to be an RA. Mm-hmm. I was on like, I got the leadership awards and did all this crazy stuff, but I was a culinary student. And I didn't like working in restaurants, so it didn't really work too well for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, you know, it came to the point where we were gonna be out touring for about 21 days during the semester, and that's just difficult to do and try to maintain any type of school schedule.
Yeah.
So I made the choice that I would take a semester off, which never stays as taking a semester off. So I dropped out and just started doing more with Envoy, and that was pretty much it. You know, my whole life ever since that moment has just been about chasing the dream.
Dropping out, like, have you ever been haunted by that decision?
Oh my God, all the time. All the time. I want to write a book about this because I'm this like weird, and I think most creative people who are driven like we are, mm-hmm. we have this like side of us. It's like we have our type A personality, which is all about like being really organized and having a plan of attack, yeah. and making sure that we're doing everything in, you know, a methodical way. And then the other half of us is like, screw it, let's just go, yay, you know, and it's like all adventurous and spontaneous and about taking risks. And my type B side is definitely fulfilled by the life I'm living, mm-hmm. but my type A side is always like, man, it would be nice to just kind of, you know, not have to, you know, worry so much about grinding all day and just be able to go in, sit down, do my work, and go. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I'm playing a show tonight, and it's funny you ask that question because I built my setup of all songs that I've written about my like music career and my endeavor in my music career.
Yeah.
And a lot of them talk about going to music school and all this other stuff to try and get a real job doing music. But I just don't think I don't think I could thrive in that kind of environment. I need like a bunch of different types of things to keep my interest peaked, and doing the same thing every single day would be difficult for me, I think. So, I mean, and that's why I started the Whiskey Hollow, because once Envoy broke up, I was like really listening to all this like acoustic stuff, and I said, man, I want to do that. So, I mean, and that's the best part about being a musician or doing this full time. I have the freedom to explore any avenue I want.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. It's nice.
Now, I wanted to touch back on something you said about the type A, type B.
Yeah.
For me, the way that being a creative, whatever field it is laid out is so illogical to me. And it, like, there's a layer of stress on top of that. So, as a musician, how has this outlet helped and hindered you with anxiety and stress?
Oh, well.
If you don't mind talking about
No, it's good. It's good. I think it's helped in many ways because, like, at least as a musician, it's really easy to channel negative emotion, right? So I don't know necessarily for, like, doing video stuff and like photography and all that junk. I don't know how that is with like being able to be like, I'm so angry, and take pictures, you know? But
mostly captions.
Yeah.
That's where the salt comes out.
Nice, I like that. So in music, I've been able to channel a lot of the frustration of being kind of lost and being kind of like there's no clear path. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I read a quote once that said, the river doesn't question why it turns left, it just turns, you know? So it's like, I can only see this far in front of me, you know?
Yeah.
For those of you just listening, it's about 2 feet in front of my face. So I can only see this far in front of me, and everything behind it, I just have to kind of go with the flow. And I feel like that's how it is with creative people. But when I do run into frustrating moments, it fuels my writing so hard. So it's like it's kind of like, I need that. I need that sort of uncertainty to be able to create, at least in my outlet. As far as the hindering goes, it's taken me a long time. I mean, I'm only 24, but it's taken me a hot minute to figure out how to actually be able to sustain myself financially. That was difficult because a salary looked really good when I was just eating McDonald's. But, you know, I think I'm figuring out the formula slowly but surely, and that is sure to change just as most creative things do. So,
I was gonna say, do you think there's a formula? Because I don't.
For me, I think it's different for everybody. I'm figuring out my formula because I'm a type A, you know, I've got that type A side. I'm trying to plan out the uncertainty, which is just madness.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's
real
madness.
Well?
It's been interesting. I think, you know, as far as my formula is just setting, I'm a goal setter, you know, so it's like my big page on my wall is all about long-term goals, my mission statement, short-term goals to help me get to the long-term goals.
Yeah.
So that's really the excess of my planning, right, in my formula. I just kind of focus on one thing at a time in each of my avenues because I've got like 75 irons in 75 fires, and it's hard to keep track sometimes, but just goals. I'm a goal setter. Yeah.
So we talked about frustration influencing your music. What else influences the way you write?
That's a good question.
Thank you. I'm trying to do a good job at this.
You're doing good. I'm proud of you. What else influences? Was there more to that question, or is it just what else?
No, I mean, I when I listen to your music, I don't get negative. There's no angst. There is some angst, but there's not. It's uplifting more than this.
That's cool. That's good to know because they're super negative.
Well, okay.
But I mean, I try to write in a way that's like abstract, so everybody can take what they want from it. Does that make sense?
And apparently, I'm pulling all the positive out of it.
Well, and that's a lot of my songs have this negative connotation, but then it talks about how to come out of that and just the journey of experiencing it and experiencing the emotion and then being able to let it go, and that's huge for me. So I write a lot. I mean, I write pretty exclusively about my personal experiences, which is a habit I'm really trying to get out of, but it just comes easier to me when I perform it. I can feel more genuine about it. I have a goal to write a record about my grandparents and just their journey through, because they've lived like all over the world for the Navy. Yeah, my mom grew up in Morocco. I know.
Where did you grow up?
Here, Streetsboro, Ohio.
It's not Morocco.
No, it's not. But my grandparents, like, my grandfather was a chief in the Navy, so they've had these like crazy stories, and like they had 2 dates and then got engaged and then got married and moved to California.
Whoa.
Like they're just like, but they're still together after like 57 years or something crazy like that.
The show I was at when you did So Far, was that their anniversary, or were they just there for
I think
support?
they support. They just go.
Okay, because I feel like I remember you like pinpointing them out for some reason.
Because it was cool to see them at a So Far, you know? How many grandparents go to a So Far show? It's kind of awesome. But it's funny, my grandpa was telling me they had that So Far at the Rialto Theater in Akron, and that's where their hometown is. And he was telling me about being a kid and like being in that movie theater and like what it was like to watch movies there, and it was just really cool to see. He was like pointing things out. But yeah, so I want to write a record about their experience, and it's been really difficult, you know, because I've had a couple really good concepts, but I'm not the kind of writer where I can just sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna write a song about this, you know?
It's really interesting, because that's the reason I didn't do well in school.
Really?
It's because I couldn't have someone tell me, this is what you're gonna learn, this is when you're gonna learn it, and this is where you're gonna learn it. And so I understand that from a different standpoint.
Exactly. I'm trying to get better because that's part of being a songwriter, it's part of being a storyteller, but I think most of my music right now is influenced by me just going through shit and trying to get better at it. Oh, you got a Norbert.
All right.
Norbert is our special guest today, sponsored by Norbert.
I was just gonna say that.
I got you. But yeah, so it's mostly personal experiences. More recently, they've been positive, which is kind of cool. So I've got a couple songs just about like being in my relationship with Bailey, and those have given us a little bit of a major key, which is kind of nice. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about the new record?
Oh sure. What do you want to know?
What do I want to know? That's a great question. I probably should have prepared that.
No, I don't care.
No.
It's all about the flow, the candid flow. Well, it's called Greenhouse, and we released it on my birthday of 2017. So the release show sold out, which is cool. You were there, you know. What else about it? I don't know, like the biggest feedback, so I've been spending a lot of time like with industry professionals, like people that do managing, people that do, oh, see, there he is.
The claws are out.
There you go, enjoy that on your leg.
I am.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of advice from like people just in the music industry, whether they're songwriters or managers or whatever, and they all tell me the same thing about it. They're like, well, it doesn't really seem like you know what you want to do.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Come in. Good. Okay. They're like, oh, it doesn't seem like you really know like what genre you want to be in. Or like, why is it indie? Is it, blues rock? Like, what is it? And part of me, I get a lot of like feedback on the lyrics. They're like, I don't really know what it's about, And that's been really hard, but that's been hard for me, because like I've done this full time as a professional for, a couple years now. Maybe no, April was when I started the business and like really just started hammering doing this myself. And I kind of pride myself in like the abstractness of like the lyrics and stuff, just because I do want people to be able to take whatever they want to take from it. I know it's nice to have cut and dry lyrics, be like, this is what it's about, this is how it ends, blah, but like, that's just not how I write. But going back to the record and what I've heard feedback-wise, a lot of people like it, and a lot of people like the first one better, which is really interesting to me. The first one, X Waters, is way more chill and acoustic, and I did that literally by myself. Like, I had Joe play bass, Ray play guitar on it, but like a lot of the arrangements and all the stuff, me and my buddy Gabe, like we knocked it out, and it was a blast. But the new one, we took a different approach and did the full band thing. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because people are just like, well, like, what is it? What genre are you? And I don't really think I can tell them what genre we are, because I don't really know, There's so much to it, and part of me thinks that that's kind of okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't like listening to the same songs over and over and over again. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
So in a lot of music out there right now, I feel like you could buy the record and it's just the same song 4 times, and
it's the hit single and then a repeat with
Yeah,
different lyrics.
and like, I just want to make sure that every time people listen to it, there's something very decidedly different about each track. So like on this one, it starts, with a twangy tune, and then it goes into this weird ambient Kings of Leon type stuff with wristwatch. And then there's like, cat hair, and there's like an actual blues song on it, and then you go into like a group love type tune, and it's just like, I want there to be something for everybody on each record. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, because that's a way to expand your fan base, and that makes sure that, people of all ages and all walks of life have something to latch onto.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not about the chords or anything like that, or the lyrics even. It's about the delivery. It's about delivering it in a way that's emotional and able to, kind of evoke some human connection. So whatever is the best caveat for that, I'm okay for. So
I think you'll find out whether or not your path of abstractness and indecisiveness, if you want to call it that, it works for you.
Yep.
For me, when I was starting out, I was so focused on becoming one thing. I had a specific vision, and I missed opportunities because I was too focused on going one direction.
Yep.
Now that I started people asking me what I want to do, I'm like, this is the general direction I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm headed towards making videos and taking photos. What kind? I don't know.
we'll find out.
But like, it's allowed me to take opportunities that before I'd be like, well, that's not going to, that's the opposite direction of where I'm going. But in reality, it might curve back around and get me further than I could have ever gotten.
Exactly. And I think I've been practicing just being open-minded and open-hearted towards the universe and like whatever it presents to me, which is why last year I called my yes year.
Okay.
So I said yes to everything. So, I said when people contacted me for American Idol, I was like, okay, sure. And I did it. And, that seemed to be a good thing that I did.
Yeah.
And I said yes to every show for the most part. Every tour, every little thing like that. And I think we're having another yes year, which is kind of cool. So yeah, just it's always good to stay open, because I think a lot of times we get so pigeonholed into thinking things are going to happen one way, thinking that we're going to succeed in a certain way, and we've planned for it when we miss that it could have happened a whole nother way. It's just about being open-minded and looking for different opportunities.
I think that's a great place to end this.
Yay!
That was awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for being on.
Dude, it's all Norbert, really.
Yeah, it's all Norbert.
It's all Norbert. I love this cat, dude.